Hi guys, what's up? Hope you guys are doing great. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very dear friend of mine whom I've known for a couple of years now. Mansi is a Christite right now and pursuing her MSc Behavioral Psychology course from Christ University. I got to know her initially from my personal sessions, and she has an amazing story to tell. We will also be using this conversation to helping you all understand about what all is the eligibility criteria, what all you need to know about MSc Behavioral Psychology course, and each and everything. I will ask her everything up. Mansi, before you introduce yourself, first of all, thank you so much to agreeing to being a part of this. I know that you're running like a very tough schedule because you've dissertations, internships, projects, all of those things. But thank you for taking your time out. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, firstly, thank you so much, Kavach, for having me over. And it feels so good to be, somewhere contributing to your YouTube channel and helping people out there understand about the course. So, a little introduction about myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Mansi Panani. I am born and brought up in Bangalore. I did my BBA in HR from Jain University. After that, for a year, I was working. And currently, I'm doing my post graduation from Christ University, which is MSc in Behavioral Psychology, also known as Behavioral Sciences. That's what it is called right now, but it falls under Department of Psychology. So we also popularly call it Behavioral Psychology. So, yeah, that's a little about myself.
Wow, that's a good introduction. Mansi, I know a bit of your story of how you got in and all of that because I mean, 2 years back when you were seeing me for the personal sessions, interview preparations 101, we had like good amount of discussions on the same. But I want everybody who's watching this video to know your story of how you got in and all of that. So please, like, let's just tell us the story.
Okay, so now that since I'm born and brought up in Bangalore, Christ University is a very well known university all across India. So, for people studying in Bangalore, it is like, a big thing, something they always look forward to, at least an educational institution they want to be a part of. So, speaking of my story, I've been wanting to be a part of Christ since almost forever, it feels like. So, when I finished my 10th grade for my 11th and 12th PUC, I wanted to be a part of Christ Junior College. But again, in junior college, what happens is they're very strict about the cutoff, especially with the commerce and science students. So, somewhere my cutoff was not very close to where I could grab a seat in commerce, and I wanted to pick commerce. So, in fact, my parents were so desperate in sending me to Christ that they were like, why don't you consider picking arts? Because that's where, your cutoff is meeting. Where I said, no, I wanted to pick commerce. So that's why I couldn't get through for 11th and 12th. And then speaking about my degree for my BBA, I applied at Christ. First attempt did not get through. Second attempt did not get through. So Jain University was another university I was considering, and they were a little strict about the fee structure, and there was like a timeline given to us. So after the second attempt, also when I didn't get through, I said, "Okay, Jain University seems like a viable option for now, at least to pursue BBA." So then I went ahead with Jain University. After that, again for my post graduation journey, Christ was one of the colleges I was looking at. Especially this time, I wanted to do psychology and not like a management course. Even after doing a BBA, somewhere looking at my career trajectory, I worked for a year after my BBA. So I felt it was more relevant to pursue a psychology course because I was into human resource management and people operations and fields like those. So then for my post graduation again, I applied here at Christ. So initially there was this one course I applied for, which is known as MSc HRDM psychology. So that also falls under Department of Psychology. So in the first attempt, I did not get through. As you know, like I was doing the interview sessions also with you, worked super hard, but still did not get through. Then in the second attempt, I was put on the wait list. So in my second attempt, when I was reapplying jobs and everything, behavioral psychology was a very interesting course I came across. And I somewhere understood that MSc HRDM is a little too competitive in nature. So to be on the safer side, I should apply for behavioral psychology as well, just another course which I can look forward to. And so that I have more options and I can finally figure out what I want to do my post graduation. So for MSc HRDM, I was put on the wait list in the second attempt, but for behavioral psychology in the very first attempt, I got through. So then I said, okay, this is my college. Like finally, and then I saw that admit card in front of me. I was like, oh, so many years of like wanting to get to this university, and finally it's in front of me. So then I didn't want to wait it out for longer. for the HRDM course, because when I went through the syllabus, the subjects for behavioral psychology, somewhere this seemed like a good alternative. So I said, chalo, let's just go ahead with it. Maybe this is my calling. And then finally, I was a student of Christ University pursuing MSc Behavioral Psychology. So yeah, that's been my journey.
Wow, it's a very inspiring story. I don't think anybody would have like the gut and the grit to be at it for so long, and but that's what I think it takes to get in. But tell me one thing, was it really worth the desperation and the hard work for so many years? Like, is it worth it?
100% Kavach, 100%, because I feel the academic quality that Christ somewhere offers is something that stands out to most. And to me, 100%. As a student of Department of Psychology, I feel the curriculum that is present in most of the courses and the skills that they sort of inculcate you with, it is 100% worth it.
Completely agree with this. At the same time, I as we see right now, like we check out the reviews and all that, we see that Department of Psychology at Christ is doing like extremely well for the undergrad courses also, for the master's courses also, all of that. Quickly, Mansi, if you could take a couple of minutes and tell like everybody who's watching this video, what was your preparation strategy of getting into Christ, like for the masters in itself? Because I know that like the HRDM course and this one had the similar amount of strategy and preparation. But if you could just quickly tell if you know what all you did for your entrance tests, interviews, micro presentations, all of that, it'll be great.
Right, right. So for the entrance test, there's a CUET for all the courses. For behavioral psychology, there is not, right? So for behavioral psychology, there's only skill presentation and interview, which we'll get to a little later. But for the other psychology courses which fall under Department of Psychology, there is a CUET which you have to give, which is for 120 marks. And section A is common for everyone, which has sections like general knowledge, general aptitude, and research methodology, basic psychology, ethics. And section B differs course to course. So whatever course you're applying to, section B will cater to somewhere some academic knowledge related to that. So for me, section A in itself was a little bit of a tough deal to crack, because basic psychology was for 30 marks and I was from a management background. So somewhere I had to brush up my psychological concepts and skills. So I read through different books. I spoke to different people who had like a core BSc psychology background. A few of my friends who've done their bachelor's in psychology, just to understand what are a few concepts I need to study. And thankfully in my BBA, I had psychology as an elective. So I had those resources as well to reach out to. So that section was not very difficult to crack. Apart from that, the rest of the CUET preparation, and I have to specifically mention this to whoever's watching this, that please prepare very well for the research section and for the ethics section, because what happens is when we look at 15 marks put in for research and 15 marks put in for ethics, we think it's just going to be like basic surface level knowledge that they're going to test and a few theoretical concepts which they'll look at. So all of us who studied research methodology as a subject and who just studied those basics, sampling, upar say what are the types of different sampling techniques, utna pad lo to it's enough, but it's not. And I have to say this, somewhere they try to understand your conceptual research skills, because psychology in general, the entire Department of Psychology in Christ is very research oriented in nature. So somewhere they're very particular about your research skills and how much you know about research. So the research section and ethics section, you have to study quite a lot. You have to understand the concepts, only then you'll be able to answer questions. So that's something I did. I just understood the different research concepts, tried speaking to people who've done a research paper before. And then obviously with the interview bit, I don't think I really even have to mention, a lot of the help was taken from you. And I'm not even exaggerating here or anything. Like, I'm legit being super honest. I went through your videos on YouTube. How do the interviews go? Like, what is the structure like? And of course, I took one-on-one sessions from you as well. So that was of great help for the interview and micro presentation. So this is what I did for MSc HRDM. Now for MSc Behavioral Psychology, there is no CUET required. It is just skill assessment and personal interview. For us, we did not have skill assessment because the interviews were online. So it was just personal interview. So that also somewhere got cancelled. So that's how I went about my preparation.
Great, yeah. As I see it, I think like probably the little hurdle for you would have been the entrance test. I want to tell this to a lot of people is that specifically for master's program, they are very stringent on the quality that they select in, because unlike an undergrad, which is, everybody does it, master's is a very choice-based thing. So they want to select that little small cohort, but who does exceptionally well. Lucky for you that there was no entrance test, because like another hurdle is that you came from a completely different background. Had been that you came from a
Yeah.
BSc psychology background or something, it would have been very easy for you to make it through the MSc HRDM course as well. But anyways, I think whatever happens for good. Now that you are finishing your course at Christ, how has your experience been like? How's the course like? Faculty, crowd, how's everything?
Yeah, speaking about my overall experience at Christ, I've personally had a good time. I've had a good journey. A lot of my academic skill sets have improved a lot now that I'm doing my post graduation from here, right? Now, speaking about the crowd, I think what happens, Kavach, I'll tell you. So, with the other post graduation courses, like psychology courses, which fall under Department of Psychology, their timings are 9 to 4. So most of the crowd is the student crowd who wants to pursue post graduation and who want to like do further studies, and the crowd is a very student crowd in nature. But what happens with behavioral psychology is I want to highlight here is that the timings are very different. We don't have the conventional 9 to 4 timings. So we have 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning and 6:30 to 8:30 in the evening.
Whoa.
So
So
yeah.
you go twice to college?
Sometimes, not every day. That depends on your timetable. I mean, it depends on your subject. In your initial stages, most of the times you may have to go twice because you're trying to finish a lot of courses, and they also have a trimester system. So, in other psychology courses, it is a semester system where you have 4 semesters, 2 years, you're done. But in behavioral psychology, there is a trimester system where a year is divided into three. So, on an average per trimester, you have 4 subjects. So initially, first 3 to 4 trimesters, you have to go twice on most of the days. But from the fifth trimester onwards, it gets a little relieving. It just becomes like once a day, or then your schedule becomes a little easier to deal with. So that's the timings with the course, and mainly behavioral psychology is meant for working professionals. So with the crowd, that's where the difference comes in here, that you'll meet people from like diverse backgrounds. That's the best part about this course. Now, I have met so many people in my class who are working professionals who've been working from 5 years, 6 years. I have met people who are like family people who are mothers right now, and who sort of somewhere decided to pursue a post graduation course in the middle of their journeys, in the middle of their 30s or 40s. So you meet like people from diverse backgrounds and different age groups, and most of them are like working, interning, freelancing, because the timings are such that the rest of the day you have in your hand to do different things that you want to do and explore. So that's the crowd. Speaking about the faculty, Department of Psychology overall has a faculty which is okay. I mean, great people with great knowledge, really nice professors who have the correct set of skills. But overall, the faculty is okay. I mean, not that great, not that bad. So somewhere in the middle. Some really good people who you'll meet, some really good teachers who will be like a good source of strength and mentorship. So that's a little about the faculty.
Wow, yeah, that's great. Mansi, so how has your, I mean, bonding been with the batchmates and all? Because considering you just went like for 4 hours to college every day, so like how has been the campus life, the bonding with the batchmates? How has that been?
That has been good, because I'll tell you what happens. Even though we go for just 4 hours for classes, right? Christ has a thing called CIAs. And
Yeah.
CIAs is something you cannot like escape from. There is no way you can escape from it. And if you're a Christite, like CIA is something you carry as a label with you constantly. And for us, since it's a trimester system, it's just like 3 to 4 months in a trimester, where first month is CIA 1 of all the subjects, second month is CIA 2 of all the subjects, and then we have a final exam. So it's that hectic. So when it comes to the CIAs, you tend to bond a lot with your classmates, because there are people coming from different backgrounds, and then you reach out to people who are better at psychology to understand, listen, can you help me with this? I've not done this before. And then there are people who are better with research skills, so you reach out to them. So somewhere the bonding happens mainly over the CIAs more than the classes, when we have to figure out our CIAs and we have to like submit them on time. That's where a lot of the bonding takes place.
I think, yeah, and that's where I think you'll be using a lot of the campus facilities, also probably sitting in the library or sitting in the cafeterias or maybe
Yeah,
going
yeah,
out
yeah,
also.
yeah.
Great.
100%.
A quick rapid fire. Two good things and two bad things about your course in Christ. What would it be?
Okay, so two good things are, first one is obviously the people. I told you they are from diverse backgrounds. There's a lot to learn. Somewhere we tend to get paranoid, when initially, like even in my initial journey, I was like, okay, there are going to be people in their 30s, people in their 40s. I don't know if I'll have college friends and if I can go clubbing with them or I can go out. So those are the things you tend to overthink about. But when you actually meet them and speak to them, you understand there's a lot more to learn. So it's always better to be a part of a crowd where there is diversity, because you learn a lot. There are people coming across from, different parts of the country, and then there are people who are doing so many different things. So the people are the best part. And the second good thing I would say is the campus life, for sure. That's like not just for my course, but overall for Christ, I'm saying. And this is sort of an unpopular opinion, but somewhere, if you just need time to unwind and relax, also the campus has that place to
Yeah,
give you that space where you can just sit with yourself, you can process
right.
all the stress that's coming along with adulting. The Christ campus gives me that. I'm not sure if people think the same way, but this is my
I
opinion.
totally agree. I
So
totally agree with that.
yeah, so these are two good things. And two bad things somewhere would be, I think, one of them about my post is the administration. They are a little too rigid about certain things, which I feel if they get a little flexible, things may get better. Because again, at post graduation level, what happens is you cannot keep rules which are very stringent or rigid. Somewhere that little flexibility needs to come in, because there are people with different opinions coming in, and somewhere that flexibility, if they're open to being a little flexible, that would be a little better. So that's one bad thing. So, and the second bad thing is the trimester system. It makes it very hectic. So somewhere we also keep internally praying that some time if this course gets converted to semester, just like the other courses, we'll have an easier time. So
But
yeah.
I think like you already signed up for the disadvantages because Christ is what it is because of its rules and the curriculum and like the hustle nature that they have. So great.
Yeah.
Mansi, my last question before I let you go would be so now that you're ending up your course in May and April and May, so what are your plans ahead? So what are like the good exit options after this course? Like, if people are considering to do this course, where should they look at like life after the course?
Right. So one good thing about this course, or the one best thing about the course, is it's very interdisciplinary in nature. Right. So even in the 2 years when you're studying the course, people, even if they look at the syllabus on the website, they'll realize that the course has subjects which are like social psychology and workplace psychology. Then there are a little parts of health psychology. So it is very interdisciplinary in nature. So somewhere it gives them the flexibility to pursue any field of psychology which they want, or even with people who still want to do a further diploma or further post graduation after this, somewhere the credits help them a lot, because this course falls under choice based credit system. So that way, they get like a lot of flexibility to choose courses which give them a lot of credits. So somewhere it's very interdisciplinary in nature. I think health psychology could be a field, social psychology could be a field, and somewhere, because the course is behavioral psychology, also workplace psychology. So these are a few fields which people could look at pursuing further. Speaking about my plans, I always wanted to get into training and development. From the time I was doing my BBA, I was very passionate about human resource management. For a while, I worked in human resource management, recruitment, compensation, payroll, training, just to understand what I really like doing. And I figured out that training is a field I want to get into. That's why I took psychology in the first place, because I wanted those niche psychological skills which other BBA graduates don't have. So that's why somewhere I wanted to pursue psychology for myself. So after this, my plans are to get into training and development for schools, for colleges, and somewhere bring in psychological awareness in students, which a lot of them lack. So somewhere I feel, as students, if all of us are equipped with a few psychological tools and with a little awareness about ourselves and about human behavior in general, all of our lives can get easier. And that is something I have realized. So this is something I want to get into.
Yeah,
And
and
plans
also
is
also
to
tell
pursue.
also tell everybody what we were discussing about your startup, like the initiative, lovely initiative that you've taken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so on thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about that. So I started an initiative on Instagram which is called Bloom Learning and Wellbeing. So it is known under the username Bloom_Learning Wellbeing. And currently, it is an awareness platform which aims to transform academic lives using skill development and creative psychological tools. So for now, since I'm studying and since I have student duties also to cater to, I'm just keeping it like an awareness platform that I've started on Instagram. But in future, the plan is to build this into a consulting firm which provides T&D services to schools, colleges, professionals, later even personally if required. So that's the plan with Bloom. So for anybody who's interested in soft skills, life skills, understanding psychology, can follow us on Instagram. It's under the username Bloom_Learning Wellbeing. So yeah.
Wow. Don't worry, I'll put out the handle in the description below. So, guys, do check it up. Thank you so much, Mansi, for your time. And I wish you all the very best for your dissertation, graduation, and everything else. So, thanks a lot. And we'll end this up here. You can say bye bye to everybody. And yeah, thanks a lot for being here. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kavach, for having me as a part of your YouTube channel. And I'm glad I can help people through this session, whoever gets that help. And it was great being here. Thank you so much.
Okay. All the best. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.